So I've had the pleasure of, over the last 6 years, radically, I'd say, having my thought process flipped upside down, inside out, however you want to look at it. And the thought process was mainly around money, really about how we think about anything. Very short version is used to be a middle school principal, thought I would retire as superintendent. Loved what I did, but I didn't ever have time to focus on other things. So I read this book called Becoming Your Own Banker, among many other books. I began investing in myself, and that led me on a journey over the past 6 years to go from being a middle school principal, thinking that I would be tied to somebody else always telling me when to be at work, when I can take off, which there's nothing wrong with that if you feel like that's your passion and what you're called to do in life, into a life where I now get to interact and visit with people who trusted us and our company and our processes enough to share everything about them, where they save money, how they save money, how they don't save money, credit card debt they have, real estate investments they have, real estate investments they want, travel plans they have, visions and dreams they have for their family they haven't accomplished, they're close to accomplishing, and the list goes on and on. And there's something that I wish someone could have grabbed me by the shoulders and shook me and said, Brandon, I really need you to understand this. Math is not money, and money is not math. So let me give you an example of what I mean. I'm sitting out here on some family land that's right across the pasture from our own land that we own, that is connected to a bunch of land that the family owns. I'm at a pond that I enjoy fishing at. I'm in a side-by-side that allowed me to drive from my property to here. My in-laws own this piece. And the piece I'm trying to equate here is that, yes, I paid for this side-by-side. We pay for the land and the property taxes and those kind of things. But the piece that can't be equated with math or money is the peace of mind I have when I sit here at this pond. When I throw that fishing rod out to try to catch a fish. Those are inanimate objects. They have nothing, they do nothing for me unless I do something with them. I have to crank the side by side, put the lure on the reel. I've got to throw the rod and reel and the line, and I've got to reel it in. Money's the same way. So in all of these hundreds and hundreds of conversations that I've had the pleasure of interacting with people and the privilege, and I do mean privilege, because for somebody to share their financial situation, here's what I've learned. Nobody thinks they've got it figured out. Not one person. Millionaires down to people making barely past minimum wage, they feel like there's something more. And there is. And the thing that there is not anything other than really shifting your thinking. We're all taught to do these things with our money without going into too deep of a soapbox moment, are almost always created for us to give our money to someone, typically the big three, the IRS, Wall Street, and banks. And then we're told that it's in the safest place possible, but we don't know what they're doing with it. And what they're doing with it is playing by a whole nother set of rules. And I mean a complete different set of rules. So back to the math is not money, money is not math. Every conversation I've had the privilege of being involved in over the past 6 years, and remember, from any type of background, successful to barely making it, it almost always comes down to people wanting to have more control of their time so that they can then live the life they feel they are called to live for whatever purpose is most important to them. So here's a question for you. If you know for sure what your purpose is, and you know that money is just an inanimate object that you give it the power that it has, do you want someone else to control the money, or do you want to control the money? Because we've been brainwashed to believe that we can't learn how to do better with our money than the big three can. I was one of those people. I contributed to a 401k, maxed it out, maxed the Roth IRA out, contributed because I had to, my teacher retirement system. My wife contributed to all the things that she could at her work for 15 years. And there's nothing wrong with that in the general sense. What is wrong with it that I now know and get the pleasure of teaching people daily is that I'm not against any of those programs. What I'm against is giving away the ability to create certainty and control for the life that you want to live to fulfill the purpose you know you're called to fulfill. Because I truly believe we all have a purpose that we're called to fulfill with gifts we've been given individually that are unique, that can partner with other people to allow greater things to happen. So let's use that as an example. Let's say you feel called to be a prayer warrior and you feel called to do intermittent prayer or fasting or anything for things that matter to you most. Maybe your church body or things you spend time investing in, giving of your time to and volunteering. Can you do more of that with more time or less of that if you have no time? Time is created by how well of a steward we are with our money. So here's what I love about what I get to do every day, and I get to live. If your most valuable resource, typically the wealth you create, income, real estate, any type of income you create, and that's going to be able to get you to the place that allows you to live your purpose. More time with your kids, more time with your husband, with your wife, more traveling, more volunteering, more philanthropy. Doesn't matter. Why would we ever give it to someone else where their rules of the game are not for us to win? So the real important piece, no matter what your purpose is one, do you know what your purpose is? Two, if you don't know what your purpose is, it's probably because you don't have enough time to think about creatively, how do I figure out what my purpose is? If you begin to figure that out, and this is something we do daily, we can help you figure that out. Then you start deciding, well, what are all of the things that I've created as an asset to me? Money, resources, time, ability, knowledge, and how can I start putting them in motion to eliminate hope as a strategy to know for certain that I can get from point A to point B to point C if I follow these certain steps and have this certain behavior. So money's not math, math's not money. And here's an important thing. A number on a piece of paper, what value does that give you if you cannot spend it? Now, I didn't say spend it for what. Your mind may have gone to frivolous things or blowing it. And that's the marketing that has conditioned us to believe that we can't be better stewards of our money than someone else. And all of these things that you'll see Shane and I talk about, our family talk about, the backbone of our thinking comes from the mindset of someone else is either going to control how money flows through your life or you are. And there are ways for you to control it to where you can bring the rules that those big three play by, and you can start learning how to play by them in a legal way that's been around for hundreds of years. And it just takes a little bit of rethinking your thinking. And I'm just going to be very honest with you. And this may hurt a little bit. It hurt me when I heard it at first, 6 years ago, when I had mentors that they cared about me enough to tell me the truth, even if it hurt my feelings. The value that we bring into this world is directly related to how much we give out in this world. And we got to focus outward. Well, the only way we can do that at the highest level, in my opinion and my experiences, is to understand that math is not money and money is not math. It is value created and the money follows. Anything you're wanting to do or you feel like you're called to do more of, the better you understand the inanimate object of money and how you can create value for it to follow you, the greater opportunity you have to serve and give outward. And do cool things like go fishing just because you want to. Hang out with the grandkids because you can. Pray for somebody for 2-3 hours a day for a week because that is what is on your heart that you feel God led you to do. You can't do that if you have to be committed to earning income. You have to trade your time for your income all the time. And I will just say this to kind of finish it off. The things we've been taught as an American and as a society is not the truth about money. It's actually the opposite of the truth to keep you chained to a system that will never let you get to where you know you should be going for your purpose.